In a quiet suburban neighborhood, a routine traffic dispute spiraled into chaos when Linda Harris, a notorious HOA enforcer, pulled a gun and shot 19-year-old Emily Carter, a heart patient, over a parking disagreement. Unbeknownst to Linda, Emily's father, Sheriff Daniel Carter, was not only a witness but the county's top law enforcement officer, and his pursuit of justice would expose a web of corruption that rocked their community to its core. Daniel Carter had served as sheriff of Warren County for 12 years. At 46, he was respected for his calm demeanor and unwavering commitment to justice. His life revolved around his family, especially his daughter, Emily, who had been diagnosed with a congenital heart condition at age 10. Her condition required regular checkups, medication, and a pacemaker, but Emily was a fighter. At 19, she was a college freshman studying biology, with dreams of becoming a cardiologist. Daniel and his wife, Maria, did everything to ensure Emily lived a normal life, though they were always vigilant about her health. The Carters lived in Crestview Estates, a gated community known for its manicured lawns and strict HOA rules. Linda Harris, the HOA president, was a 52-year-old realtor with a reputation for micromanaging the neighborhood. Known for her sharp tongue and relentless enforcement of bylaws, she was dubbed HOA Karen by residents. She issued fines for unapproved mailbox colors, reported unmowed lawns, and patrolled the streets like a self-appointed vigilante. Most residents tolerated her, but Daniel, with his law enforcement background, found her overreach infuriating. On April 12, 2024, the incident that would change everything began innocently. Emily was driving home from a doctor's appointment, her Toyota Corolla inching through rush-hour traffic on Crestview Boulevard. She'd had a tiring day. Her cardiologist had adjusted her medication, warning her to avoid stress. At a stop sign near the community entrance, Emily paused to let a pedestrian cross. Behind her, Linda Harris, in a sleek white SUV, honked impatiently. Emily glanced in her rearview mirror, confused, then proceeded when the pedestrian was clear. Linda, however, was furious. She believed Emily had cut her off, blocking her turn into the community. She tailgated Emily for 2 blocks, flashing her lights. Emily, mindful of her condition, pulled into a visitor parking spot near the community center to avoid confrontation. Linda pulled up beside her, blocking her in, and stepped out, her face flushed with anger. "You think you can drive like that and get away with it?" Linda shouted, banging on Emily's window. "This is my neighborhood, and I won't have reckless kids like you causing trouble." Emily, startled but calm, rolled down her window. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. I was just letting someone cross." "Don't lie to me," Linda snapped. "I'm reporting you to the HOA for dangerous driving. What's your name?" Emily hesitated. She knew Linda's reputation and didn't want trouble. "I live here," she said quietly. "I didn't do anything wrong." Linda's eyes narrowed. "You don't belong in that spot. That's for visitors, not residents. Move your car now, or I'll have it towed." She pulled out her phone, snapping photos of Emily's license plate. Emily's heart rate spiked, her pacemaker working to stabilize her. "Please, I'm not feeling well. I just need to go home." Linda scoffed. "Don't play the victim with me." She stepped closer, her hand reaching into her purse. To Emily's shock, she pulled out a small handgun, pointing it at the car. "Move. Now." Emily froze, her hands trembling on the steering wheel. "Please put that away. I'm not a threat." The situation escalated in seconds. A neighbor, walking his dog, shouted for Linda to stop, but she ignored him. Emily, panicked, reached for her phone to call her father. The motion startled Linda, who later claimed she thought Emily was reaching for a weapon. A single shot rang out, piercing Emily's driver's side window and striking her in the shoulder. She slumped forward, gasping, as blood spread across her shirt. Daniel Carter was 2 blocks away, driving home in his unmarked sheriff's vehicle, when his radio crackled with a 911 dispatch. "Shots fired at Crestview Estates, visitor parking lot." His heart stopped when he heard the description of the victim's car, Emily's car. He floored the accelerator, arriving in under a minute. He found Emily slumped at her seat, conscious but pale, clutching her shoulder. Linda stood nearby, the gun still in her hand, her face a mix of defiance and shock. Neighbors had gathered, some yelling, others calling for help. Daniel rushed to Emily's side, his training kicking in despite his fear. "Emily, stay with me," he said, pressing his hand to her wound. "Ambulance is on the way." "Daddy, I'm sorry," Emily whispered, her voice weak. "She just shot me." Daniel's eyes locked onto Linda, who was now shouting. It was self-defense. She was reaching for something. He didn't respond. His focus was on Emily, keeping her stable until paramedics arrived. They rushed her to Warren County Medical Center, where doctors stabilized her. The bullet had missed major arteries, but her heart condition complicated surgery. She was alive, but not out of danger. As sheriff, Daniel recused himself from the investigation to avoid bias, but he ensured his best deputies handled it. Linda was arrested on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She claimed self-defense, insisting Emily's actions had threatened her. But witnesses, including the dog walker and a security camera from the community center, told a different story. The footage showed Linda initiating the confrontation, brandishing her gun unprovoked. Emily had made no threatening moves. Daniel sat by Emily's hospital bed, holding her hand as she recovered. Maria, his wife, was inconsolable, blaming herself for letting Emily drive alone. Daniel reassured her, but inside, he was seething. Linda's actions weren't just reckless, they were a culmination of the HOA's unchecked power. He'd seen her bully residents for years, using her position to intimidate. Now, she'd nearly killed his daughter. The case drew immediate attention. Local news outlets covered the shooting, with headlines like, "HOA President Shoots Teen in Parking Dispute." Social media exploded, with residents sharing stories of Linda's overreach, finding a widow for a cracked driveway, threatening to evict a family over holiday decorations. The hashtag #CrestviewKaren trended, amplifying calls for justice. Daniel, as sheriff, knew the system wasn't perfect. He'd seen wealth and connections shield people like Linda before. But this time, he had leverage. His deputies uncovered that Linda's concealed carry permit was expired, a felony in itself. They also found texts on her phone, sent to HOA board members, bragging about teaching that girl a lesson. The evidence was damning. At the preliminary hearing, Linda's lawyer argued she acted out of fear, painting Emily as a reckless driver who provoked the incident. The judge, unimpressed, denied bail, citing Linda's history of aggressive behavior. Daniel sat in the courtroom, his face stoic, but his mind raced. He knew the HOA's influence ran deep. Board members had ties to county officials, and Linda's real estate firm had funded local campaigns. He tasked his deputies with digging deeper. What they found was explosive. Linda had been skimming HOA funds, funneling them into her personal accounts through fake vendor contracts. The HOA's books showed discrepancies dating back 5 years, totaling over $300,000. A whistleblower, a former treasurer, came forward with documents proving Linda had coerced board members into silence. The shooting wasn't just a personal vendetta, it was part of a pattern of entitlement and corruption. Emily's recovery was slow. She spent 3 weeks in the hospital, her heart condition exacerbated by the trauma. Daniel and Maria took turns staying with her, balancing their fear with hope. Emily, ever resilient, insisted on testifying. "I want people to know what she did," she told her father. At the trial, her testimony was powerful. She described the fear of seeing the gun, the pain of the shot, and her struggle to stay conscious. The jury was visibly moved. Linda was convicted on multiple charges: aggravated assault, illegal use of a firearm, and, later, embezzlement. She faced 12 years in prison, with no parole for at least 7. The HOA was dismantled, its assets frozen pending a state investigation. Residents elected a new board, one committed to transparency. Daniel used his position to push for stricter oversight of HOAs countywide, earning praise from community advocates. Emily returned to college, her dreams intact, but her perspective changed. She started a blog about her experience, raising awareness about heart conditions and the dangers of unchecked power. Daniel, proud but haunted, vowed to protect his community from within, knowing justice for Emily was just one battle in a larger fight. The story spread beyond Warren County, sparking debates about gun laws, HOA overreach, and the consequences of entitlement. Daniel Carter, the sheriff who nearly lost his daughter, became a symbol of quiet strength, proving that even in the face of tragedy, justice could prevail.